Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. It doesn't look like my intro went as it was supposed to. I've been playing with it, but we'll get it down pat. We're just figuring it out right now. Just let me get my technical stuff organized here, and we can get moving. Okay, perfect. Hello, Fishonic Tankus and Griffin. Welcome. This was a bit of an impromptu live stream today, but I thought let's just have a fun live stream. Let's share some ideas. That's main reason I do these live streams is I love to share ideas, especially ideas about the aquarium hobby. I like to take advantage of the platforms we have today to do this. Never used to have this when I was younger. Now we have a great platform for doing this. We could all share our ideas. I have a bit of a pet peeve against some more experienced hobbyists that I understand if they have a breeding program and it's their business. It's what they do for a living. And they have some secrets in their trade that they don't want other people to get that would give them an advantage on them if they're in the fish breeding business. But other than that, I don't like it when people withhold information that they have that can improve other people's health of their fish, their aquariums, maybe save them a bit of money. And we can all do better at this aquarium hobby if we share these ideas. So that's why I'm doing this. Hello, Jason. How are you? Right on? Yeah, don't get fired. I know you just got that job, so don't get fired chatting with us. But welcome, and I'm sure you'll get something just from listening today. I'm going to go through a bunch of items. Just some of them are dollar store items. Some of them are more expensive items, but they're items nonetheless that make my life easier in my fish room. I think I'm currently at 26 fish tanks, some saltwater, some freshwater, some breeding tanks, some that are just my display tanks, just tanks of fish that I like looking at. But nonetheless, I've acquired many items over this time that some may seem very minute, not very important, but I can tell you when I'm frantically looking around the fish room for them and I can't find them, they become very important very fast, very fast. So what I would like to do today, seeing as it's impromptu, everything, I have a few items behind me planned to talk about, but I'd like to hear what you guys use as well. I'd like to hear little tricks, items that we may not have thought of that do tasks in our fish rooms or just on our aquariums. I understand not everybody has a fish room, but even just on your if you only have one or two tanks or something, these will help you too. So that's the beautiful thing about this. It doesn't matter how many tanks you have. Some items are better for more tanks, multiple tanks, but some items are universal. They work great for everybody. Hello, Dragon Lair. Welcome. I don't think you've hardly ever missed a live stream. I appreciate that. Speaking about that, I think we're up to like 794 subscribers, which is pretty great. I've never thought I would ever get this many subscribers, so it's kind of neat. But now I'm hungry for it. Now I want the 1,000 subscribers. So you guys can do me a real quick favor, and that is hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. And if you're subscribed, thank you very much. If you like our videos, hit the like button. These things help us. These things, what it does is the more likes that are out there, the more likely YouTube is to suggest one of my videos to somebody to watch. And hence that gets me more subscribers, that gets me more views, everything else. I do not make any money at this point. I do this just because I like to do it. But Yeah, we're growing great, and hitting that 1,000 subscriber point would be extremely beneficial for me. I can go live via mobile. I don't always have to be stuck in my studio because I like to do a lot of things outside and in other areas of my house. I don't have all my tanks in the basement, so I have tanks in other areas of my house too, and this would allow me to go around much easier and help spread some tricks I've learned, maybe a little knowledge I've picked up. And yeah, so that's what we're after. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. That's the last I'll preach on that. I'm just really excited that we've actually almost made it to 1,000 subscribers. Looks like we got a couple more people in so far. We have Aquarium Cop in. Listening to you as I drive. Sorry, I can't type and drive. That's totally acceptable. Thanks for joining in. I figured it'd be a lot of people driving or at work today. I don't generally do afternoon live streams, but I thought I'd try one since I had a bit of time this afternoon. Welcome, Abu Absi. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And you have a little trick for us. I used to do this trick since a long time. So you basically take a plastic plant pot and drill a hole in it, and voila, you've got a great hiding place for fish. Yes, that's exactly true. And if you want to take it just a little step further to make it maybe a little more natural looking, I do that with clay pots, and I'll drill a hole out on the end. Not everybody has the ability to drill clay out, but if you do, that works very, very well as well. And a lot of fish will actually spawn inside of them. In fact, that's what my clownfish lay their eggs in now up in my main saltwater tank. They lay them inside a 4-inch clay pot. So yes, clay pots are great. Plastic pots are great. Plastic would be much, much easier to put a hole in. I would just maybe try to clean up the edges of it a bit, the same as I do with the clay pots. You can leave very, very sharp edges with the plastic or clay. So just clean them up a bit. If you have a little sandpaper, give it a little wipe around, and you won't have to worry about that scratching or damaging your fish. So what I plan on doing is I have, and you can see a little bit of it behind me, but most of it's right behind me. I brought out a few items in my fish room that I'd like to share with you and share what I use them for and why I use them. Now I'll take a little break in between each one, and if you guys have an idea, I will showcase your ideas in between my ideas, and we'll just go back and forth. So we'll keep this very interactive, and I hope everybody takes part, and let's share some ideas. Yes, that's talking about the clay pots. Yes, it is much easier, and it was very difficult to actually get the clay pot in because you had to put it exactly where they're going to spawn, the clownfish that is, or they'll just do it on the rock. And yeah, last time I had to smash a huge rock, and it was a big ordeal. It worked out, but the clay pot will be much easier to remove from the tank. And that's going to be in 2 days, actually, for the next spawn. But I'm trying actually not to talk about clownfish too much today because I've been extremely one-dimensional lately. Because that's what I've been mainly doing. It's been taking a lot of my focus just for the fact that I've never done it before. So it's very time consuming. I'm very worried about it, nervous, and trying to do everything exactly right for them to show people that just your average dude can be successful in raising some clownfish babies. But we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff today, not just them. So without further ado, I'm going to turn around. I'm going to pick my first item. This is my first item. Everybody might laugh, but this right here, this Folgers coffee container actually comes with a fairly not water sealed, but a sealed lid anyways. But what I use, this a great scooping bucket. Look at the handle. It's got a handle. It's a great scooping bucket for your bigger tanks. Might not seem like much, but it's a free scooping bucket. And that way I can kind of leave one of these in a whole bunch of different areas of the fish room, and I can always find one, and they didn't cost me nothing if I lost them. So that's my very first one, but I'll put one more item with it because it's kind of the exact same thing. And that is a juice jug. Now, I do prefer the juice jug for a lot of different reasons, and that's because it's got a spout. It's easier to pour. And the other thing is fish bags fit right into this juice jug perfectly. So when I put fish bags in the juice jug to put fish into bags, hold your bags up really nice. Another thing would be a milk pitcher. For bagged milk, I know our Americans, I don't think you guys actually get bagged milk in the States. You get it all in jugs, but we get like 3 liter or 3.5 liter bags of milk, and we have milk pitchers for them, and they work fantastic for that application as well. So that's my first item, and everybody, like I said, might laugh, say that's not much, but wait until you're looking for one. And when you're looking for one, and you can't find one, it becomes a very big deal. So I keep these all over my fish rooms because I'm always scooping water. I have a large RO barrel that I scoop water from. I use these to fill up 5-gallon buckets with them. And yeah, it's an extremely useful tool. And if you drink a lot of coffee, you can get quite a few of them. Turkey baster. Of course, we can't go without a turkey baster. Turkey baster. This is probably not the most used tool in my fish room, but very, very close. I use it because for a lot of reasons I use it would be because I use the exterior hang-on breeder boxes for raising my baby ancestress. So my baby ancestress go from the cave they're born in into these external breeder boxes, and I use this for cleaning up all the waste and mulm that they leave behind from uneaten food and waste. And I can suck it out easily. I don't generally catch them. It's very accurate for any time you're trying to take stuff, debris, anything off the bottom of a tank in a tank with a lot of fry or baby fish in it, and you don't want to risk using a siphon and sucking the babies up. These are essential. I use it quite a bit. So yes, Fishonic, that's a perfect example of something that you can get at the dollar store, but it's going to make your life so much easier. Yeah, well, it's yeah, I don't know if it's afraid to try or I guess we'll talk a little bit more about the clownfish. I shouldn't, but we will. I don't think it's people are afraid to do it. I think what happens, I'm speculating here. I'm 100% speculating, but my speculation from my experience with it, and I know people fairly well. I'm fairly good at reading people and seeing how people act. I'm going to say for a lot of people, what they would do is take a half-assed approach at raising clownfish fry. They died, and then they just felt it was too hard or just felt that they would never find success. So I screwed up the first time I tried. Screwed up royally. Didn't even find any the day after hatch. I totally did everything wrong and bad, and it didn't work. But I was successful the second time, but I took an absolute non-half-assed approach and went full balls to the wall approach, and that works. So I think if you're going to do it, you have to commit and just do it. Welcome to the stream. Lava rock. Excellent. So everybody start typing what lava rock is good for. I will come up with a couple, and let's see. So for a lot of people, what they don't know, lava rock is quite commonly used in aquariums. I think a major benefit of lava rock is that it is extremely porous. Extremely porous, all kinds of holes, and what that does is create more surface area, and the surface area will hold more bacteria, and that's coming up to Griffin's point right here is filter, and lava rock is fantastic inside a filter, whether you put it inside a canister filter, a hang-on back filter, a sump. Many people fill their sumps with lava rock, and that is because there's just so much great surface area for beneficial bacteria to attach to, and helps keep your water extremely clean. Decoration. It's used for decoration a lot. It's used as hiding places for fish a lot. I don't know what else. I'm actually I don't believe lava rock changes the water chemistry. I believe it's a fairly neutral product. Someone can if someone wants to check that for me. I'm not 100% sure on that fact. So that doesn't make it a fact. So let's make it a fact. If someone can check real quick if lava rock changes the pH or water chemistry at all. If someone could look that up for us, that'd be great. Yes, shrimp like lava rock too. They again, I think it has to do with the surface area. The surface area of the lava rock allows a lot of biofilm to grow on it, and the shrimp will pick away at that all day, and it will give them a food source that they actually require. Biofilm is not a food source for ornamental neocaridina or caridina shrimp. It's a must. Biofilm is a must in their tanks. Without there's something in biofilm that I think just keeps them ticking, and without it, I don't think they do very well. So you can feed your shrimp once a day or once every couple of days, however people decide to do it. People are very leery on water quality and fouling their water quality with rotten food in the tank. So a lot of people don't feed as much. But if you have natural occurring biofilm in your shrimp tank, your shrimp are grazers. Your shrimp graze all day long. They eat very small food particles, and they want to graze all as long as the lights are on. They want to be grazing. They even graze after the lights are off. So biofilm provides them with that natural diet that they would have had in the natural in nature. And I also believe it helps keep their digestive systems on track with having that constant micronutrient diet coming into them constantly. So very good. Hiding places, yes. If you lava rock has many, it's not uniform anything, and a lot of small fish and fry can use it as hiding spots. Whoops. Perfect. Thank you, Dragon Lair. I thought it was pH neutral, but I wasn't 100% sure. So thank you, and that clears that up. Okay, I think I got everything for lava rock. Yeah, that was a great addition. Great addition. So let's start with another one. Sorry, that was probably loud. So the next one I'm going to show everybody is a product that is actually for human consumption, but I use it for fish and shrimp a lot. There we go. Organic spirulina. I don't know how it's supposed to be said, but I call it spirulina. I'm going to see if I got some. Let's use. Another thing I use these buckets for a lot is holding cameras up and stuff. Oh, it's just not quite high enough. Not quite high enough. Get it in the picture while we're talking. Let's get all pro here. Trying to see what else I can use here to boost it up a little bit. Let's just use this here. All right, we're in it a bit. Perfect. So this powder, and that's all it is a powder, is like superfood. That's all it is a powder. As you can, don't spill it. It stinks. But spirulina is an algae powder. And like I said, it is like an absolute superfood for fish. Fish love it. Not only do fish love it, food for fish love it. So when I was raising I still am harvesting rotifers, but while I was harvesting rotifers and I didn't have the proper supplements from where I got the rotifers from, I used spirulina powder and they lived. If you mix spirulina powder and a little bit of yeast, it's a fantastic food for Daphnia. It's fantastic food for rotifers. If you want to raise brine shrimp past the juvenile stage into sub-adult or adult brine shrimp, this will do it. If you mix this in your salt water and maintain water quality, this will do it. This is the superfood of green foods. So my fish room, I have 2 or 3 of these containers around. I have found some cheaper places to get it. I haven't purchased it in a long time, but I used to purchase it on the Wish app. If anybody, I have a video about that as well. Actually, long time ago, very old video now. But I have a video about purchasing, and it was like $5 or $6 on the Wish app delivered. This container here cost me in a health food store in Aurelia $32 Canadian. So $32 versus $6. The quality seems to be the same. I don't see any adverse effects from my fish either way on it. So this is my next one, spirulina powder, and I use it a lot. Baby plecos, ancestris. This is the very first food that I offer them. When they come out of the cave and I put them into the external breeder box like we were talking about, this is the first food. I don't mix it with nothing. I literally take a big pinch of it in my fingers and I make sure I really give it to it and spread it in the water. You really have to dissolve it a lot, but I dissolve it in the water. I make green water, and that's the first thing my plecos eat is spirulina powder, green water. And they do fantastic. It seems to, again, I think a lot of things with our hobby and breeding fish mainly depends on digestive systems. Most of the issues we have with our fish are digestive system issues. Like African cichlids, the Malawi bloat, as they call it. That's a digestive system issue. That's too much animal protein, not enough vegetable protein. Or I should say terrestrial protein versus aquatic protein, because they generally do fairly well with aquatic proteins, but it's all digestive system and all the problems are digestive. I believe a lot of the fry losses in a lot of fish have to do with starvation and digestive problems. The starvation comes from having a blocked digestive problem. So this is a huge boost for that, and it's very digestible for them. Yes, exactly. You don't have to just go with this. You can go with everything. Powdered algae and spinach would be great. If I could find powdered zucchini, that would be awesome. I would mix all that in my fish food. So I actually use this food as well as a very large part of a homemade fish food that I make as well. I always put a couple scoops of this powder in it as well. Okay. Sorry, I'm just, I see a couple more here. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else about spirulina. How many ounces is it? Well, it's in grams, but it's 300 grams, so that's like 10 ounces. I guess that would be pretty close. Okay. So your guy's turn. Yes. Yes, most definitely. Buckets, just buckets, period. Um, I enjoy keeping a few like 2.5 gallon buckets in my fish room, and I have about 10 5 gallon buckets in my fish room. I'm generally fairly I'm fairly leery on using used buckets in my fish room, so I usually just go and pay the $5 each at Home Depot, and I just buy them, and they come with lids too. So if you are moving fish, um, that's a good idea. I guess another good idea if you're moving large buckets of fish, like transporting them, a battery operated air pump with an air stone as well. Yeah, because you get to eat lots of ice cream. I use a lot of the 4 liter, 1 gallon ice cream buckets around here just for moving babies around the fish room and stuff, or even for if you're into planted tanks a lot. Your plant, when you're getting rid of algae and different shit that you're just throwing out of the tanks, root clippings, whatnot, I use them for that as well. Do you think that could be related to why some of my fry are not developing nearly as quick as the rest? Hi Shannon, welcome to the stream. And Streetwise, welcome to the stream. I'll get to you in one sec. I like your idea there too. Um, Shannon, I'm not sure. It could sometimes also, like, I don't know what kind of fish you're talking about. So um, sometimes, yeah, sometimes it's digestive issues. Sometimes could be water quality. Sometimes some just come out weak. Remember, in the wild, with most of the honey dwarf, is that like a honey dwarf pistogramma? Um, so remember, in the wild, our fish have, like most types of our fish that are egg layers, anyways, have hundreds to thousands of babies at a time, and that's because many of them are going to come out weak. And if they Grammys, okay, yeah. So a lot of them are going to come out weak, and a lot of them just are going to perish, and they're just meant to perish. I think that's just the way Mother Nature does it. So they figure if a fish lays 200 eggs in the wild, if 2 or 3 survive, that's a huge success. Um, so if we can even get like 25 to 50% of a lot of these egg laying fish to survive in the aquarium, we've accomplished great things. So just remember that a lot of times there's also called runners. Some fry grow much quicker than the rest, and generally they won't even hang around with each other anymore after that. But we force them to in an aquarium. So some of the smaller ones stay small, and some start slow, and some catch up. So it all depends. It could be many things, but I feel very strongly that if you start with a great diet for them, um, a great diet that's very easily digestible for them, then you're off to a huge advantage right off the bat. I hope that helps a bit. It's really hard for me to suggest anything else without knowing your setup and everything. Yeah. Yeah, I like that, Streetwise. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Um, that's a really good idea. I'm going to actually look into that. Thank you. See, this is why we do this. You guys have great ideas. I don't know. I have no idea. But I would imagine I guess what I'm gonna say is you'd have to read the ingredients list and see what's in it. So when I get products like that, like right here, the ingredients list is extremely short. The ingredients list is organic spirulina. So that's I guess what you have to look and see what's in it. When I'm after this, I'm after this. No filler, no nothing. That's just what I want is the straight up spirulina. So if you can get another type of algae or spirulina and you can mix them together, if you can get different powdered spinaches and whatnot, like was suggested, either make up a little cocktail. All of them are highly digestible. Okay. Can a 10-liter bucket work as a quarantine for pregnant live bearers? I don't see why it couldn't. I guess my major thing would be if I was going to do that, which is fine. Lots of people use tubs. What's the difference, right? Is water quality. As long as you can maintain water quality. If you can maintain water quality, I think it would be a very low stress environment. That's what I would think about if I was quarantining a pregnant live bearer. I would think about the stress on that live bearer. So having all the walls dark, that's good. That they don't feel stressed then, right? But I would add a sponge filter. I would keep a sponge filter in it, even a very, very small one. And when I say a sponge filter, I mean a seasoned sponge filter, one you've taken out of another tank that's already got beneficial bacteria in it. And I would use a sponge filter in the bucket, and I would also maybe put on some water lettuce or duckweed or possibly some guppy grass, something that's not going to take up all the water space, but something that's going to add a little bit more security to that fish. And I think they will be more than happy in there if you can maintain your maintain good water. There shouldn't be a problem. And also, if you put some water lettuce or guppy grass or anything in like that too, it's going to help maintain your water quality. And also, if she gives birth and they need somewhere to hide, because a lot of females are cannibalistic. Many female live bearers are cannibalistic. It will give the baby somewhere to hide as well. I hope that helps a bit. Yes, that is. I do have a couple of kitty litter buckets around here, and we used to buy it in a bucket, but we found this really. We have 2 cats. You guys have seen Gizmo on here, but yeah, we used to buy, but now we get it in a jug. We got the lightweight stuff because Nicole got tired of carrying these 40-pound freaking buckets of cat litter. So this stuff works out very, very well. But yes, that's free buckets as well. Yeah, you have a couple. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to say. We could even take it a step back. So if people are having issues with fry, being born deformed or being born small or whatnot, I guess your best defense against that is to have the parents healthy before they lay eggs. I'm not saying yours aren't, but what I am saying is I personally would take extra steps to ensure that the parents had really, really good nutritious food before they laid. A long time before. It's called seasoning a female, getting the female ready. And what that is bulking her up on really, really nutritious foods, like a lot of frozen foods, a lot of variety and a lot of different kinds of foods. And get them bulked up and make sure they're really, really healthy. And the water quality is really, really good too. Water quality plays a very big role on eggs. A lot of eggs may get fuzzy or moldy if you have poor water quality. When they're born, they'll get bacteria infections and die. So yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of things that go along with breeding fish for and being successful at it. Is it starts with the parents, and it starts with just really good fish keeping husbandry, and yeah, should work out for you. Sounds like you're well on your way. If you're getting babies and some are doing great, just keep rolling. Try different things. See if you have more success or less success. It's a lot of trial and error. Hello, Lauren Ashley. Welcome. Abu, keep some small sponge filters seated in a tank, and then a bucket is good for separating fish for treatment or to give birth. Entirely correct. Hey, Fish Tropic. Welcome. Thanks for stopping by. Yep, thanks for coming in for a bit there, Aquarium Cop. Appreciate having you around. Okay, I think you're talking about the bucket. Yeah, you should be able to with a light, but I'm not sure. I might not know what you're talking about. Yeah, tubs, totes, and buckets. I currently don't have any, but I think it's actually, I'm going to go back to clownfish talk again here for a sec. I actually thought about that for my next batch, actually setting up a black tub, just a black, all sides black tub, because it's the sides that you have to black the tank out anyways. So that's what I was thinking about doing for my next batch. Yeah, you're welcome, and I might not have hit the nail on the head at all. It might not be anything at all, and you might not be doing anything wrong whatsoever. It's just the way some babies turn out. Hello, Bob. Welcome. Thanks for stopping by. Chevy Fish says, I put buckets outside and Mother Nature gives me free live food in them. Sure does. Infusoria, mosquito larvae. You can collect all kinds of Daphnia. You can collect all kinds of neat stuff outside. Fish Tropic says, when watching a fish, I like to use a small fish tank. It's easier to see issues with new arrivals. Yeah, very, very, very valid point. It is much easier. You can only see so much out of a bucket or a tub because you can't get a side view angle on it. So that is a very good point. Okay, let's go on to our next item. Okay, so next item is prime. Some people like prime. Some people don't like prime. I like prime. I don't find it expensive. A lot of people find it expensive. It is super, 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 super concentrated, and it lasts a really long time. So I also use this. This is the Big Al's version of their water conditioner, and it's big and it's fairly inexpensive too. Why I like Prime over this one is that Prime, I can actually fill, like I have a 180 gallon tank here. I do usually 40% water change on it when I do a water change. That's a lot of water. So I run it straight from my tap, straight into the tank. I set the temperature at the top, and I just put 3 caps of Prime in the tank, and I know it will dechlorinate up to like 160, 170 gallons of water. So, and I can do that as I go. I usually, when I start, I put 1 cap in. 5 minutes later, I'll put another cap in. 5 minutes later, I'll put another cap in. I swirl it around, and it also acts as an ammonia blocker. Now, I don't buy it for that reason, because I don't believe in chemical removal of ammonia, because it comes back. It will come back, and what that does is messes with your water chemistry a bit. So you're better off just not to have ammonia in your water. Have a good cycled tank and not have ammonia, and just use this as a dechlorinator. That's what I use it for. Now, if I'm going with the 5-gallon buckets and just mixing 5-gallon buckets as I go, so like a lot of the time when I'm pumping water into the 180, I'll keep buckets in front of it. I'll use the Big Owl stuff in those buckets, 1 cap per 5-gallon bucket, and I'll do other tanks as that tank is filling. So prime, it's huge on my list. Yeah, I got the directions right in front of me. 1 cap full is good for 50 US gallons. You can do up to 5 times normal dose, and you will not hurt your fish. If chlorine and ammonia levels are low, use half a dose. Is what it says. So yeah, this stuff's great. Yeah, I got price is right on it. $18.99 at my local fish store for this, and I believe Fish Tropic is saying that's for this one. I think you're talking about. I'm pretty sure that's for that one. But again, if you have chlorinated water and you're using a Python and you're trying to fill your tanks, that's what I use. A lot of people say that there is an argument for saying, I've never dechlorinated my water at all. I put her straight into the tank and my fish do great. Some of my fish will be okay with that. You can still see the gill burn. I don't know if how your throat feels when you have an extremely inflamed throat. You're really sick and your throat's just messed. Imagine that on your breathing apparatus of your body. Imagine your lungs. I guess that would be more at your lungs. Imagine you burn the hell out of your lungs every time someone tried to make better water. That's what you're doing with your fish. The gills are getting burnt if they're getting chlorine in them. So, but that's just me. I thought you were leaving, Aquarium Cop. You're back. We have another question here. So I ended up having copepods or something living in my sponge filter, and the fish that grew the fastest figured out how to eat them. Is there a way to grow copepods? Yes, there is. I don't know if we have enough time right now, but if you have copepods, I'll keep it real simple for you. This is how you could get started. If you can catch a few, get a few of your copepods. Get a 2-liter pop bottle. Put a hole, a very small hole, like a 1/8, a little bit bigger. It might be 3/16 actually. Hole in the top. Run a piece of rigid airline. I think I have a piece here. I know I do. Get a piece of rigid airline. Put it through the cap. Through the cap, run it down into the tank like so. Attach your airline. Very small bubbles, not a lot. Don't like boil the water around in it. And add a little bit of yeast, brewer's yeast, and some spirulina powder daily. As the water becomes clear, add more, and you will grow copepods. So I hope that helps a bit. Okay. So yeah, we got a couple of different prices here people have put up, so that's great. Aquarium Cop, just a little story as I'm at a traffic light. Talk to text, so read through it. I have a beta. I love her. I came home the other morning and she was upside down, not moving. So I bugged out. Found my old school box filter that was full of baby snails that had died. Ah, ammonia. Cleaned, chucked a seeded sponge filter in, and she was fine in 9 hours. Yeah, so anything can cause an ammonia spike. If you have, might not seem like much having one snail die, but if you have 1,000 snails die at once, even 100 snails die at once, uh, that will most definitely cause a pretty big spike. What do you use, Griffin? Do you use anything or just do really small water changes? Yeah, Chevy says put scuds in a bucket outside. Uh, 10 to 20% water change really doesn't need dechlorination if you have a well cycled planted tank and you don't have chloramine in your water. I'm still going to disagree, be honest. Um, the reason, and everybody's welcome to their own opinion. But for me, I'd rather just not worry about it. I'd rather just get it out. I know it gets diluted in the water. Maybe at 10%, I wouldn't worry about it. But there are some fish in my fish room that would still bother them. Hi, HC Aqua. Welcome. So prime example, I had blue flash Cypricromonas in the past. Notice in the past, I did probably a 20% water change, and it was just chlorine in the water, no chloramine, and it killed them. They were all dead by the next day. Some fish are extremely susceptible to getting to dying from chlorine in the water. So I guess it depends on what kind of fish you have. If you have some very hardy fish that it doesn't seem to mind, I'm still going to say you're not doing them a justice. But some fish cannot tolerate it whatsoever. And like Fish Tropic says here, yeah, and I don't play around with fish that are over $50 a piece. Well, yeah, I don't like to play around with any fish, but I know exactly what he's talking about. When you have blue phantom plecos and stuff like that, yeah, I don't screw around with. Actually, they get RO water. I don't even trust my tap water dechlorinated for them. They get RO water that's been remineralized. So I guess it depends on the kind of fish you have. If you have some really hardy fish, then I guess it's just fine. But if you don't have quite as hardy a fish, I wouldn't even chance it. RV filter. Ah, I see. I see. That works. That works. Actually, I wanted to I'm going to actually talk about that next. I have it on another camera, just something else for my next item to talk about when we get through your guys' items here. All the tanks, they disappear. A lot of your fish are probably eating them. Yeah, you bring up a valid point here. So yeah, and I've actually been the maintenance guy for a water drinking water treatment plant, and not a huge one. It's a very small operation, but it was still uh, um, you know over 1 million liters a day still went through this place. And yes, the chlorine is added as needed. So if you have some water that's better than others, it's added as needed on this was a computerized system. I didn't have to mess with it much, but it wasn't always the same amount of chlorine that went in the water. So you don't know. You definitely don't know. No, I didn't. I'll have to go back up and have a look because I want to see this. Sorry, I'm slow. Must have been back here quite a ways. Ah, right here. Perfect. Streetwise said, one cheap thing I love is a comb for removing duckweed. I shake it a bit to get the shrimp off first, but I do put the duckweed in a bucket to check for critters. That's a great idea, actually. That's so you're talking just a regular old hair comb. That would be great. It would grab them by the roots, everything. Fantastic idea. Fantastic. So that's great. I gotta make sure I save this and remember this, because that would work good for when you're trying to get those couple of pieces. That would work really, really good. I like it. You know, I tried that the other day, Chevy Fish, and I don't know, what does your water come out as for a TDS in it, rainwater? Maybe we get really polluted water around here, but I was like 190 ppm. I did it the other day because I was really, really slow on making RO and I needed lots. So I thought, shit, it's pouring rain out. So I'm going to throw some buckets outside. And literally the water was like, I didn't trust it. I didn't use it. It was like 190 ppm. My water treatment plant periodically adds extra chemicals to the water. I not only use prime, I leave my tap water in a container aerated days before use. No deaths ever from water changes. Good to know. I can't do that. I can't wait that long for my water. But yeah, it's working. Mark Shrimp Tanks. Yeah, I like watching his videos, man. He's on the shrimp thing. He's on the shrimp thing for sure. I use a pick for that. Yeah, that would work too. I believe you're talking about the duckweed. Yeah, most definitely. Aquarium cop. Jan, normally I set buckets of water to breathe several days, but since COVID, the local water has been adding many additives. So I've been letting it breathe and putting water conditioner in. Yeah, very good. Very good. I wish I had time to do that. I generally don't, so I just use conditioner. But yeah, I guess we should note that, yes, you can use this, but if you just have chlorine in your water, if you just leave an aerator running in that bucket of water for 24 hours, you can pretty much count that it's been dissipated out of the water. Yeah, down in your stinky city, fish tropics. Bleh. I don't know if I'd trust the water either. Our water's bad enough here. I can't imagine down there and the treatment that it goes through. About 80 TDS. Yeah, I wonder why ours is so, like, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that up around 200. I thought that was insane. Yeah. So that's a very, very good point. If I had more space in here, I would do it. But quite frankly, I go Python to the tank most of the time for a lot of my tanks. But anything that I have that my tap water doesn't work for them, I have I have a 40-gallon barrel for my RO water. And sometimes I have some tanks that I actually use a mixture of RO water and tap water, dechlorinated tap water, if I'm just trying to tone my tap water down a bit. It does. It does stink. It does stink. I'd say, like, down in the GTA, I'd say Pickering's probably got freaking worst water, man. It's gross. I honestly cannot even stand to drink this stuff. I don't even like to smell it. Well, thank you for stopping in, Streetwise. Appreciate it. You had some great tips as well, and I hope you picked some up. Yeah, that's probably your very best way. I don't believe chloramine. I don't have that in my water, so haven't researched it a lot. But I don't I don't think it's a bad idea. That's probably the best way to do it, because even when we're adding prime or whatever, we're adding chemicals to the water, which can't be good. Aquarium Cop says, Jan, let me tell you, every person in this chat are on the money. Wow, I guess we all know what's up. Thank you for being a real fish keeper lover. Well, thank you, Aquarium Cop. That's what we strive for here, is just getting out good information and getting. I like to hear your guys' ideas as much as mine. I like to share mine, but hopefully my ideas just give you guys ideas to come back with even more ideas. That's let's get some good information out there about fish keeping. Yeah, next time I see you online, let me know, because that really freaked me out when it was close to 200 TDS. Oh, good for you, man. Good for you. I still have that nasty habit, but I guess the bad part of it is now you can smell everybody else's nasty habits. Okay, I'm gonna get on to my next items. Now I'm going to have to change the camera. The camera is going to be going to not on me, but onto what I'm talking about. So I'm going to do that right now. There we go. So that there is my air pump for my fish room. And I guess I put that on as an item because that has been one of the most energy saving, quiet, pumps and mode of filtration I've ever had. Now that's a Gemco. I believe it's the Gemco 45 or 40. It's meant to run 40 airlines at max capacity. And what I've done with it is I've actually done an air loop system all the way around my entire fish room, 70 feet of air loop. And it runs all my tanks absolutely perfectly and is wicked quiet. If I was going to buy shares in an air pump company, it would be Gemco. I'm saying this thing has never let me down. I run over 50 airlines off of it, not all at max capacity, but this thing is super quiet. I don't even hear it in my fish room, and all the air I could ever want. All the air I could ever want. I bought this unit used about a year and a half ago. I got a stellar deal on it, and it's the best. I have never touched it. Where you see it, where I've never even cleaned the filter in it, people. And this thing just keeps pounding. I could boil the water over in all my tanks with it if I wanted to. So if you have 10 fish tanks or more, I would say this is what you want your fish room. This is what you want. My hydro bills are less than a lot of people that don't even have a fish room because of this unit. I run sponge filters off of it. I run my breeder boxes off of it. I run aerators off, air stones off of it. This is the cat's ass. And like, I wouldn't even know it's running in the fish room. So that's my next item tip is air pump run to run sponge filters if you have multiple tanks, I'd say over 10 tanks. Now, something else I've done with it is I did the full loop. It's a full loop system. So what I mean by that is the air is constantly circulating around the entire system. There's no dead stop on it. The airline just doesn't run to an end and stop. The line actually loops right back around and back into itself. So what that does is you never get a buildup of pressure. And what it also does is your tanks will all have absolutely equal pressure. No tank will have, no manifold or airline will have more pressure than another. So that's the benefit of doing that. And this little pump, I put styrofoam under it. As you can see, it's up in the top corner of my fish room. I just made a real simple little shelf for it, and you wouldn't even know it's there, and it draws very, very little. You will also notice beside it, there's just a regular water filter, and that's actually on the water line coming into my home. So I'm filtering the water before it even gets to my RO filters or anything like that. And I could actually use 2 or 3 more of those beside it. Reason being is my water is extremely hard here, and I do every little bit to help my RO membranes last a little bit longer. Okay. Sorry, I'll just catch up here. I went on a bit of a rant. Hello, serious fish keepers. Welcome to the show. Yeah, your sense of smell will get an awful lot better. I don't know. Maybe one of the moderators could look up how much they sell for on Amazon or something like that. I think they're probably around 200, 250 bucks, maybe a little bit, maybe a little more. I'm not sure. And to run 70 feet of 3/4 inch PVC air loop cost me about another 120 bucks. And then you need the brass manifolds and whatnot. So yeah, you're probably looking at probably $300 or $400 to set it up the way I have it set up. But one FX6 will cost you almost double that. So this thing runs over 20 filters. It's actually closer to 40 filters that it runs. So if you look at it that way, 1 filter versus 40, it's a pretty good bang for your buck. And I believe this air pump probably uses less hydro than my FX6. Dragon Lair says, this is an awesome air pump, JN. I got the Meadow from Aquarium Co-op. That's just like it. I don't hear mine and have more air than I could use. Yeah, there's other options for sure. This is just the one I'm familiar with because that's what I had. But I'm sure if they can make it pump like this, many other companies can too. They do have a reputation for it. Like I said, I bought this pump used. I didn't know how loud it was or how quiet it was or anything. I just, it was a great package deal I got. So I just bought it. Yeah, you definitely can't go wrong. You could do your entire house probably Fish Tropic. You could run in freaking airlines anywhere you want with it. Hell, like I said, Killers, mine was used, so I don't know. But Bob, yeah, in your it'd be a little difficult maybe in with your system. I've seen your setup. You're very spread out, and it's all through your house. This is just in my basement, so I don't know if you'd want to run dedicated airlines. But hey, why not? It would save you an awful lot of money. Dragon Lair just piped in here. Gemco is about 300 bucks, and Mito is 230. So there you go, guys. Oh, Chevy Fish just found it for 200 bucks. Fish Tropic, look at the Mito Aquarium Co-op sells is just like that Gemco. Bit cheaper. Gemco is behind on shipping theirs, and Co-op had theirs in stock 2 days to get. I'm not sure if Corey even ships to Canada. maybe somebody can clarify that. But I know Fish Tropic is in Canada, not far from me. So I'm not sure if they actually ship to Canada. I think you can get the Gemco right at Big Al's. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to hear from people who have had the how long have you had the Meadow 4 Dragon Lair? How many years? I'd say mine Gemco is about 5 years old, and it has not even had the filter cleaned in it in the last year and a half. Hello, Kim. Welcome to the show. No, Corey doesn't ship to Canada. I didn't think so. So it might actually be easier to get a Gemco in Canada. Yes, that's what my pump is there. Yeah, they seem to be probably the most popular quality pump for I'm gonna say a small to medium sized fish room. Okay, so let's get on to our next items. What will we do next? Well, I had this out anyways, so people again may laugh at me, but I'm actually going to get one more thing. One sec, just to prove a method of how I do something here. Okay, so pop bottle. Everybody's got them. Now, my preference is a Pepsi bottle over a Coca-Cola bottle. And I'll show you why. I got one here. It's a smaller one. It's the same thing, though. Coca-Cola bottles have ridges all along here. So when I make a brine shrimp hatchery, I flip the bottle upside down, and the bottle is used like that. And essentially, I use the bottom side of a pop bottle. This one's not meant for that, but as a stand. And that's so you can get all your brine shrimp out of there. Now, I like the Pepsi one because it's got no ridges. The Coca-Cola one does have ridges, and the Coca-Cola bottle, the brine shrimp debris and whatnot, you'll get dead spots on those ridges, and eggs will stick to them and whatnot. This way, when you put, again, back to wherever I put it, it's probably right in front of me and I can't see it. But the rigid airline tubing, when you do the rigid airline tubing into it, same thing, and just roll the water. Works well. I use this just for a scoop. Fish tanks, scooping out water. I leave it by a tank that I do it regularly with, and I use them for scoops. So pop bottles help save you time and money in your fish room. Now, why I got this other item, and I'm just going to show you how it fits with this. So this here is a light. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's a light. And what it is the light for and lid for a real cheap ass plastic goldfish bowl, believe it or not, that came in a whole package. I bought it for like $1 at our local aquarium club auction, figuring I could use it for something. And it can. So how I have it set up is so that the light, this bottle's not perfect, remember, because I just hacked it, but the light sits right on top. I put a hole in this, did I not? I didn't have to put a hole in it. Stay there. Right here on the back side, you can see there's a notch. That's where I put my airline in. So my rigid airline goes in through there, and it stays completely sealed up nice. The light comes on, the light gets warm, the light heats up the water. I don't need a heater in it or nothing. Stays on 24 hours while I'm doing my brine shrimp. Great light, works awesome for raising brine shrimp. So Pepsi bottle and a cheap ass aquarium, a plastic fish bowl aquarium light, but it makes an awesome brine shrimp hatchery. So that's my next items. I guess we will we'll call them items because I did a couple at once there. That's for that other pump. Sorry, my brain's not working here. I already forgot the name of it. But okay, well that's good. If they've been lasting, then that's all we're looking for, right? Meadow, there it is, meadow. Yeah, fantastic. So yeah, have a look around, people. If you're in the States, I'd say the meadow. I don't know if the meadow is available in Canada, but if you're in the States, you can get the Gemco or the Meadow, and you're probably stuck with the Gemco in Canada, I would say, at this point. And yeah, at 199 or 229 bucks, that's a pretty good deal. And I'm sure you could get parts for it if you really needed to as well. They're a very big company. So while I'm reading this, you guys come up with one of your ideas. It's your guys' turn. So you come up with one of your ideas, and then I will share another because I got lots more back here. So you guys are falling behind. Get it together. Aquarium Cop says, live streamers, please take note. This is how you do a live stream. And I got to tell you, this is one of the best live streams I've heard in a long time. Oh, I already read that. I think I already read that. Yes. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. Oh, no, that's a new one. It is a new one. So I appreciate it, Aquarium Cop. And it's all you guys that help make this a fantastic live stream. If it's just me up here blabbing away for nothing, believe me, it wouldn't be that good. I've noticed a lot of live streamers and just people who are successful with their videos. You see those people that they start doing videos, they're really good at doing them. They're really good at putting information across, but they're also very entertaining. And I think that's what I lack. I lack the entertaining side of things. I'm good at putting videos across and everything, but I have this monotone voice, and I'm not a real excitable person. So I guess I'm not really good at being fake, and I'm not saying they're fake, but a lot of the times to be entertaining, you have to act a little bit. And I'm not very good at that. I'd rather get information out, tell it how it is, grow slowly, and we'll get there. We'll get to exactly where we want. Right now, I'm very happy where we're at. I always have over 10 people watching, and I always and I'm getting lots of subscribers. We're almost at 800. So, hey, man, things are going good. And let's just try and take something from all the live streams we watch and put it together and help each other out. Honestly, a lot of people can say, well, why should I share my... Well, you're helping somebody else keep their fish healthy. And if we help each other keep our fish healthy, then everybody will have healthier fish. Fish stores will be doing much better because they won't have people coming back with a bag of fish in their hand going, oh, my fish died, I want your warranty. Instead, they'll take their fish home, a month, 6 weeks after they've set up their first tank. It's cycled beautifully. It's going good. They'll put their fish in, and their fish will live happily ever after, as opposed to taking dead fish back for warranty constantly. So it'll help keep our hobby better. And with all the there's a lot of good things and bad things that come from all the information sharing we have. We can share good information. We can use platforms to help each other. But there's also people in this world that just want to use platforms to hurt other people's ways of lives. People use platforms to express their opinions of how we should live, on how we should keep our pets and everything else. So there's good and bad in that. The good part of it is it's going to make us work harder. It's going to make us work harder to make sure that our pets don't suffer. That's very important, and that's one good thing they've come to do. A little less shaming. They could do a little less shaming. But if we can keep our pets healthier, it gives our hobby a brighter light in the world. It gets less negative things for people to say about our hobby, whether we are helping to keep our fish healthier, keeping them from passing away. When we can participate in a CARES program and help keep fish from going extinct in the wild, when we can practice our captive breeding strategies better, our captive breeding programs, how we do things, if we can make them better so that we don't have to take as many fish from the wild, again, just makes us look better in the hobby once again. And we'll do this by sharing our information. So this is the good point of it. And so let's just keep sharing our information on your guys' live streams, on my live streams. If everybody does it, then we'll be styling. All right. My speech is over. Oh, that's okay, Bob. I will never tell someone, hey, you should be watching a live stream, because I am terrible for joining in live streams and then having to leave. I just don't generally have time in my day to sit around and be real active in a live stream. I'm a busy dude, busy dude. When I do find time, I just do a live stream. So, and it's good to get back into them. I haven't done live streams for quite some time. Hey, there's Stag. Yeah, the Flyers would have went, man. I think this was our year. I think we can say that. We'll just say that Philadelphia would have won the cup this year. I think that's what we should do, because they were going to anyways until everything got screwed up. But anyways, there's a hack I learned, which is cutting and taking the bottom of that Pepsi bottle and drilling multiple tiny holes in it. You can then pour water in the bottle bottom. This can be really useful if you have planted aquariums or sand stubs. Ah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Oops. Yes, that's awesome idea. So I've tried using just a plate, just pouring it on a plate and letting it go up. But that idea, I like it. Take note, people, when you're trying not to disturb your ADAD or any of your substrates, or if you have plants that are loosely planted, maybe not rooted that good, that's a great idea. So what Abu is saying is drill pile holes, small holes in the bottom here, right? And then when you're adding water to your tank, use that with your imaginary holes drilled in the bottom. Pour it through there. Water will get dispersed, won't create a waterfall and rip everything apart. Great idea. I'm going to implement that, actually. It's a great idea. Dragonlair says a cheap long handle paint scraper is good to get algae off the glass. Yes, very good. Yeah, that would be a very good point. Sorry, I was just looking. I got a StreamYard notification. I didn't need it, though. Yeah, that's a really good idea, too. I generally just use a razor blade with a razor blade holder. But, like, if I turn this, that tank needs the face of it cleaned. And that would be really helpful for that tank. Yeah, that could do the same thing. Plastic strainer might have a lot more holes in it, though. It'd probably go a lot. The plastic strainer would drain a lot faster, and I don't think it would be as. I'm speculating here because I haven't tried it yet, but I'm gonna try it. I would think this would have less flow into the tank than a plastic strainer. Yeah, we would have taken it. Cup was going to Philly. I believe this is Jason. Hi, Jason. How are you? Same, Jesse. Wish I could watch more hobby and groups. Keeps me busy. Yeah, it's sometimes sometimes it's hard to get on. Yes, I do. You know I do. Could you see them there? Those aren't even pleco caves. Not even those are. I did make those caves there though. They're. I was trying to do like an Olympia thing in there, but yeah, it's all slate and ceramic tile. Works good in that tank. Yeah, that would. Oh, great idea. Another great idea. I never even thought of that. I would have never thought of that. Yeah, just lay a piece of bubble wrap on top. It would just, because it would float. Another great idea. See how that took off and went from one person's idea that probably works absolutely fantastic to a strainer to a piece of bubble wrap. That's a really good idea. I like that. Very good. Does Farmer George have a YouTube channel? When feeding brine shrimp, use pantyhose to strain your brine. If you feed a lot of salt will enter your aquarium over time. Not good for plants. Yes, that's a very good idea. I haven't got to this item yet, but since I'll come back to this. I will come back to this because I'm going to add to that. Bob from Kaler's Aquatics. And if any of you are not subscribed to my many moderators I have on this channel, by all means, subscribe to these people. They know their shit. Let's face it. They know it, man. So subscribe to them. They have great channels. They're all different channels too. Some channels are more refined. Some channels are more raw. Some channels are heavily edited. Some channels are not edited. Some just do live streams. Some just do videos, but they all have a message to send, and everybody on this live stream, or they wouldn't be on it, or they wouldn't be a moderator on mine. I can tell you that. They have great ideas. So check them out and give their channels a shot as well. Bob from Kaler says, I use a foot-wide plastic rubber lip shower squeegee to remove algae quickly, a foot at a time. Give me one sec, Bob. I'm going to see if it's the exact same as the one I have here. Is this what we're talking about? Now, I've actually never tried using this for algae. It's usually when I make a real mess on the glass, I'll use this to give her a scrape off. But yeah, another item in the fish room. Works great on plexiglass too. Yes, that's a very valid point. If you're doing a lot of brine, why not put them in a marine environment like they're supposed to be? And I'm assuming this is George Farmer's YouTube channel. Cool. I will definitely check that out. Yeah, that's a very good idea too. They wouldn't scratch. They wouldn't scratch at all. So I'm going back to this brine shrimp feeding thing. So I I have a couple different methods I do it. I'm going to have to come back for 1 sec, though. Hello, Nygold. Welcome. So for brine shrimp, there's so many ways to do it. But when I do it, I'm going to get this out of the road just so you guys can see me. So when I'm doing brine shrimp, I implement the use of a large syringe. Okay. So what I will do actually is I will connect a piece of rigid. And if the brine shrimp, say we're in this bottle, the top would be open, but say they're in here, I go down to the bottom, I shine a light on the bottom, I extract the brine shrimp into here. And then from there, there's many choices. Like you don't want a whole bunch of salt water going into your plants or fish that are not saltwater fish. So it's a couple different ways I do it. You can use pantyhose. You can use a reusable coffee filter. Or you can use a brine shrimp sieve, I think it is, sieve. So either way, I do that. And then I use a measuring cup. Again, a measuring cup or a bowl of some sort is imperative. Measuring cup is another item on my list that I wanted to talk about today because I use it a lot. But very simply, I'll put fresh water into the measuring cup up to here-ish. And then I will squirt my brine shrimp into it, give it a little shake. And what that does is dilute that little bit of salt water into hardly any salt water at all. Take the basket out, swish it in your tank, fed. Works the same way with the scene as well. It would work the same way with the pantyhose as well. Would work very well. And that way you get your brine shrimp and you get very little to very, very little salt in your tank. And the brine shrimp are no worse for the wear. So another fish room hack is this right here. I use this for a lot of my micro feedings, brine shrimp feedings, stuff like that. Anytime I have to extract the small, very small things, this is what I use. It works absolutely fantastic. This is about the squeegee, I believe. So there he is. Go. I use a turkey baster and a Chinese tea strainer. Yeah, that would work too. Turkey baster would work as well. Find this is more accurate when I'm trying to get a certain. I can see right into it, and I can see how thick the brine shrimp are, so I can actually get a fairly accurate idea on how many I'm feeding, so I'm not overfeeding or underfeeding. This is the handle, Bob. It's just a cheap ass thing too. I don't even remember where I got it. So yeah, as far as brine shrimp, I think we've pretty much covered brine shrimp. I've covered my makeshift brine shrimp hatcheries that work fantastic, let me tell you. Also, how to get the brine shrimp out. Yeah, and to dilute that salt water. I'm running out of room here. I gotta start placing items back. All right. What I have in my hand, what I have in my hand, my girlfriend's family, part of her family enjoys having escargot for like a Christmas thing or New Year's. I forget. I think it was Christmas. Anywho, I think it's absolutely disgusting eating snails. They look freaking gross. They smell really good with the garlic, though, the garlic butter. But I think it's just the garlic butter that smells good. And if I have to put garlic butter on them to eat them, I don't want to eat them because they probably taste like shit. So, anyways, what I do afterwards is I sanitize the old escargot shells when they're done. And man, they can eat a lot of them. I'll get 50 shells one Christmas. That's 50 shells a year. So, 49 if that hits the ground. But these shells I use in my multifasciatus tank. And that's where all the babies are born. Give me 1 second. I'll set it up for you and you can have a look. All right. I will have to double check, see if we got the camera on it properly. Yeah, that's pretty good. A little crooked. Look straight through it. Not bad, not bad. So, this is my multifasciatus tank. And as you can see, there are escargot shells everywhere. So this works for these fish all lay. These are an African cichlid from Lake Tanganyika. They're actually the world's smallest cichlids. And these guys have their babies in these shells. You see a lot that are a lot smaller than the rest. There's some actually fresh babies over on the right-hand side. If the thing quits pulsing, you can see it better. But they live in all these shells. So those shells are actually their home. So by going to a family Christmas, I got a whole bunch of new shells and homes for them. So the other thing too is when I sell people any of my multis, when I have them for sale, is I like to give them shells with the multis too. Why not offer the multis to people with something that the multis are comfortable with? So with this excess of shells, I'm able to, when I do sell fish, actually sell shells with the fish too, without really going into my stash in the tank at all, because they have it all set up the way they want it anyways. So that allows me to be able to sell people some multis and they get the shells with them, and it didn't cost me nothing. It don't cost them nothing, and everybody's happy. So these are another great idea for saving a bit of money and being able to share your stuff. And it didn't cost me anything to give people shells with the multis, and their fish are going to be better for it. Sorry, we'll get the camera back. It's nice that I've been able to figure out how to manipulate cameras around here. And I got enough equipment now that I got good stands that I can do it with too. It makes it so much easier to explain what you're doing when you can show people exactly what you're talking about. So that's been a huge advantage since I've upgraded a little bit of equipment around here. Jason says, I think these streams a lot of my members would enjoy. Jesse, please let me know next time you're going live and gladly share. Yeah, I appreciate that. The problem is lately I've been going just impromptu. I've had my work schedule is picking up drastically and home life and whatnot. So I've been more going on the impromptu thing. So it's been I tried to share it out a bit today before I got it out about an hour before I actually went out. Yes, you do. I think back then I wasn't getting the Christmas shells though. I think you got dollar store shells or something because or some shells I bought somewhere. But I remember selling you some multis. I'm glad to hear they're do you still have them even? I'm not sure. But this is my same colony still going. This colony has been going strong for a long time. They've had a tank change since their last tank blew out on them. But I've actually sold in the last month about 30 multis out of that tank, believe it or not. It was pretty packed. Okay, next item. Let's keep her going. I'm going to do 3 items at once. So, Ofla knife. Very, very important. I'm cutting stuff in my fish room constantly needing a knife. Sometimes I use it for slicing up zucchini. Sometimes I'm using it for cutting airlines. Sometimes plants, whatever. Cutting bottles, cutting pop bottles. Ofla knife, easy to use. Need to keep one around. So on that same note, scissors. I keep a couple of pairs down here because I can never find them like everything else. I set shit down on tank lids and then I won't find it again until I go back to that tank. But scissors for cutting plants, cutting anything, cutting fish bags open, everything. So, yeah, this is great. Absolutely great tool. You need one in your fish room. Okay, right here. Tweezers, fish room tweezers. If you don't have fish room tweezers, you're missing out. Now, I use these more honestly for collecting snails out of my tanks to feed my puffer fish than I do for actually planting plants. But sometimes I do plant plants. But if I just need to grab something out of a tank, I don't want to get my hands soaked or my big ugly fingers are too big to pick something up in the tank, I use my tweezers. This is just these are things here that if you don't keep them near your fish tank, you're going to be going to get them. They don't cost very much money, so you're better off just to keep your jug and keep all your stuff right in your jug, and then you know where it is. Okay. What are you referring to? Yes, if we're talking about the shells, yes. They do provide that, and they provide homes too. Yeah, that's what I was trying to read while I was doing a live stream. So that's great. I don't think I can go mobile live yet. Maybe. I don't know how YouTube would know whether I was going live or not with a mobile device using StreamYard. And I do use the StreamYard premium package. I pay for my StreamYard package. That way I can put my own watermark on. I don't have StreamYard's watermark on my videos. I can run my videos as long as I want. I'm not I'm not limited to how much time I want to stream or the amount of times I want to stream a month. So that's kind of neat. I'll have to try that out. I'll go up and have a look. I'm terrible for seeing stuff. It must be quite a ways back here. I don't see it anywhere. I just went all the way back. Sorry, guys. I don't like missing comments. I'm trying to keep you guys in this as well because I want to know your hacks. But I'm sorry, Abu, you'll have to, if you don't mind, put it up again. I don't think I got it. Yeah, I don't use YouTube Live. I don't know. It's caused me. I don't know. I had a hard time using it actually. But you've used live stream before, Bob, because you've been on. You've been a guest on my live stream on. You've been a guest on my live stream through StreamYard. I find it works pretty good. It's very easy to use, but it could have some more. It could have some more options. Yes, yes, it does take forever. It absolutely does. Um, yeah, a plastic scraper on the plexi would definitely be better. Yeah, yeah, me too. I don't think Abu. I don't think yours went through. I seen one and it said it was retracted, so I think maybe you didn't send it by accident. Okay, so next on hacks, these have been talked about a lot. And what these are is pepper mills. Oh, sorry, he's got to run. All right, Shannon, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate your input. But pepper mills, you'll see I have two here, and they support different food. I have a couple because I'm doing two different. This is for my clownfish babies. I have like 5 different types of food mixed in there, and I pulverize it in this. It's down to an absolute powder by the time I'm done, and it's perfect size for them. This is my pepper mill for going around the majority of the fish room for my smaller fish. I break bigger pellets up into smaller pellets. I put a couple of different blends of pellets in here to give my fish a varied diet. What I'm also able, if I have different size fish in the same tank, what I can do with this is I can set it, and some small pieces will be broke, some bigger pieces. That way, all the different size fish will have a chance to have something to eat that fits in their mouths properly and gives them proper nutrition. So pepper mills for me is they're used absolutely every day. So that is a huge item in my fish room. Sorry, I'm just seeing before I go if there's any more of your guys' hacks. Even our live stream is going extremely long today, but we'll go for a bit more. We'll go for another 15-20 minutes, I guess, because there's a lot of stuff that I went through here. And I'll have more for another one too. So let's get to our next item. Oh, wait. I see it'll take a second for the comment to come up on my computer. I could see the comments earlier on my iPad that I have beside the computer. So I'll just wait 1 second for Abu to comment to come up here. It'll be up in 1 sec. I'll get my next one ready while it's coming. Whoops. Okay. There is a hack idea I've been using for a while, which is using polyester as a filter media. Best works for hang on back. It's easy to get, cheap, and most importantly, it provides more surface area for beneficial bacteria. Just make sure to rinse it well before using. Yeah, no, that would work great too. I use a lot of polyfill for polishing water in the back of hang on backs as well. Yeah, no, excellent tip. Thank you for going back and retyping it for us. Appreciate it. Okay. So my next item is a piece of hose. Now, on the end of this hose, same as a gravel cleaner or anything, but on the end of this hose, I've used an old small mesh. There we are. You can see it's got a hell of a lot of dirt on it. But I use this for, I've actually started to use it for my clownfish tank, my clownfish baby tank. And this way I don't suck up baby clownfish, yet I can get all the particles off the bottom of the tank without taking a lot of water. I'm able to clean the entire bottom of the 7-gallon tank and only take about 15-20% of the water capacity out for a water change. So I've very simply just, it's not neat, it's not good looking or anything like that. I've literally taken a piece of net from an old net and an elastic it onto the end of the siphon tube so babies don't get sucked up. Now, be careful when doing this because I've still had the babies get on there, like get sucked in with the suction. I had to get them off very quickly so it didn't kill them. But I did kill one yesterday by accident with this. I didn't see it get sucked on there and it did die. But maybe that was a weaker one to start with if he didn't have the power to get away from this. But still, just something to be very careful of. But so far, I haven't really gotten any fish out, killed any babies with it other than that one. So if you're careful and mindful of it, that's a very good tool for doing a water change in your fry tanks. Quilt batten is polyester and is $3 for 50 feet of it at Walmart. Yeah, that's for like if you're making stuffed animals and stuff, I believe, or pillows or anything like that. Yeah, no, that would work very, very good. A rinse would be most definite. I used a large sponge pre-filter on the hose end of it. Yes, you can. The problem I had with my application for it was it wasn't getting the bigger debris that I wanted to get when I would put a sponge on the end of it. And that's why I went with this one. But yes, if you want to be ultra careful, that's how you can do it. But it does restrict it a little bit. You don't get quite as much power. JH suggested a grind, and LRB said, I prefer to feel the size granules before I feed them. I guess that's why I go back to manual crushing. Yeah. How I do it, though, is I crush it into my hand like that, and then I feed it. So I can still see exactly the size of granules that I'm feeding, too. So Depends how much time you have and how much you want to put into it. Either way works great. I find the batten works better than the fill. Good to know. Even on the saltwater tanks. Yeah, I guess it would hold all the big debris in it, but I've like I said, and that is what I used. I just found this method a little bit more efficient for that application. For other applications, that would work absolutely perfect if I was just doing a straight up water change. But to actually clean all the debris and uneaten food and stuff off the bottom of the tank, it wasn't effective enough for my application. All right, we're getting down nitty gritty. So this is my next one. Ooh, it's still wet. Toilet brush, obviously unused in a toilet. This toilet brush I use for cleaning out my rotifer bucket. Any buckets you have for keeping live food and you need to scrape the walls of it or anything, this is the brush. You can also use it on glass aquariums if you use it very lightly on, if you have a lot of algae on the silicone seams and the corners. You can use this brush very lightly on the silicone seams, and it does work actually quite well at getting algae off the glass of your aquariums as well. The toilet brush, people. Get with the toilet brush. There's the best way right there. Nygold, a mortar and pestle is to crush flakes and stuff for feeding white cloud fry. They are too small for brine shrimp. That is the ultimate way to do it is right there. So if you are, and I should get one. I don't have one, but I should get one. I have been able to get by with the pepper grinders. I bet you I could do it a lot faster with a mortar and pestle, though. You can get them on Amazon. I've looked at them. You can get them on Amazon cheap, like $10 or something. It's not very much money at all. Co-op large pore sponge is what I use, JN. No restriction. All right. Well, I'll look at that one. See if, yeah, Dragon Lair is saying the same thing. So, yeah, I'll definitely have to try that. It might work better than my idea. If I could get something that I can get the shit out, but not take the babies up, I'm willing to try anything. Okay, I got more stuff. I brought lots of stuff for this. Okay. Still got water in it. Airline tubing. Air stone. If you need to drain water out of a tank and you want it to drain slowly, or if you're acclimating fish, this is what I'd use with my clownfish babies to put in the new salt water. I put the saltwater bucket higher than the tank. I drop the air stone into the fresh, excuse me. Whew. Probably gonna be two more. I drop this into the new water tank above the old one, siphon it in. You can also put a flow restrictor on this end, manifold if you so desire. I forget what the damn thing's actually called, but anyways, control valve, water control valve, and you can control how fast the drips come out of it. So if you have fish that are sensitive to water changes, or shrimp, or if you're acclimating shrimp into your tank, this is one of the best ways to absolutely do it. So cheap, so easy. Airline, air stone, and you can get a control valve for that end. Thank you, Chevy. Yeah, I'm surprised I only had one sneeze. I usually have many, many more than that. Okay. I'm getting down to my nitty gritty, so I think we will be done within another 5 minutes or so here. But this bad boy right here, my temperature gun, shoot it right at you. Hopefully that didn't wreck my camera. But I could tell you that my computer monitor is 97.5 degrees Fahrenheit just from doing that. Tells you right here. Where are we? There we go. Get some light. But you can change it from Celsius, Fahrenheit. It's incredibly accurate. You don't have to put it in your fish tank. Like, you literally, if I want to check the temperature of the 180, that's literally what I do. That's what the 180 is sitting at. 79.7. I could actually drop that a little bit. I don't like it that warm. But if you have multiple tanks, or if you're doing water changes, you're checking your water at the tap, you can literally shoot this at your tap water coming out of your tap, and you know exactly what the temperature is. So for me, if I'm going through my fish tank racks, I can literally in 5 minutes check the temperature of every single tank I have. Go up, bang, point, shoot. Go up, bang, point, shoot. It's as easy as that. Price, I got it on sale, but you're looking at anywhere from probably $30 to $100 for this temperature gun. Well worth the money. And especially during COVID times, if you want to see if any of your family members have a fever in your house, you go up to their forehead, you point, shoot, and you know if they got a fever or not. We have 4 kids. They get shot with this quite regularly. Okay. Oh, we got one here. Abu, just give me 1 sec, Abu. I'm going to go through the temperature gun questions, then I'm going to go back to this one you have up here for your nutrition. I didn't miss it. Hello, Chubbs Aquatics. Thanks for joining us. I'm sorry we're getting near the end of the stream, but you'll be able to catch a little bit of it here. I got water where my mouse is. Okay. Yeah. You're not living without it, Chevy. You're definitely not. I was pretty stubborn on getting one. I didn't get one for a long time. I was using a digital meat thermometer, which worked perfectly fine, and I still use it from time to time. But if I can reach that temperature gun, that's what I use, because it's too damn easy. It's instant. Even a meat thermometer, digital one, it takes time for the reading to actually stop moving and be correct. Whereas this is just bang, done. JN, is the temp the same from top of the tank directly on the water as on side of the tank through the glass? Give me 1 minute. I'll let you know. We'll do it right now. We'll test it. Might be a little bit different, but you'll have a general idea. Exactly the same. No difference whatsoever. Not even 1 point of a degree difference. Now, my initial reading so this is what I got. I don't know if you can read that. That's what I got. Tank's too hot. I got a heater that's not shutting off because I never keep that tank that warm. Thank God I checked. But when I did it originally, I did it from back here. So if you do it from like 2 or 3 inches from the tank, your reading would be the most accurate. So I just did that 2 to 3 inches from the tank. You guys watched me. It was exact 80.9 on both of them, going straight through the water on top or going through the glass on the side. And this is thick glass. So I would assume the glass is acclimated to the exact same temperature as the water if it's been that way for a while. So I don't see why it wouldn't be the same. But there you go. We just did a Mythbusters. Well, I just proved you wrong on that one, Dragon Lair. Sorry. We did a Mythbusters. But it would be more accurate through the water. I would be more comfortable with that. But I don't think it's a big difference, to be honest. I don't know if we have Harbor Freight. We might. I got this one at Canadian Tire. We do have Canadian Tire. It's just a Mastercraft Maxim. Okay, let's go back up to this one here. I know a hack to increase nutrition in fish food. I get fish flakes and pellets, crush them, then add aquarium water to them, make it dough-like. I then add calcium powder or well-rinsed eggshells. Then add to the dough. Let dry for 24 hours. I recommend feeding the fish this mixture once a day. Very good. Very good. We will try it. I soak flakes in vitamin solution weekly, and it really boosts color. I think we should have another live stream with Jeff Mountjoy, who I had on, and have another fish nutrition talk. And Jeff might be a little more comfortable on camera. He did a great job when he was on. He's never been on YouTube before. But man, he knows. He's forgotten more about fish nutrition than I know. So I want him on, man, again. And he wants to come on again. He's got more to talk about. I think it may depend on your room temps. I know last winter my glass was colder than the water. Yeah, it very well could be if the temperatures are a lot different. I think the ambient temperature in this room is 73.5 degrees. So it's not a lot different than the tank. Hey, Gnarly, thanks for joining us. We are going to be wrapping up here very shortly. I've been going for 2 hours now. I'm sure there's other people that want to do live streams as well. But I do have a couple more items to go through. So we'll go through them. And if you guys have any more you want to go through, we'll go through them. And then we'll probably call it a wrap for today. My throat's getting sore from too much talking. Yep, I'm almost done. But for dollar store items, just a tub. Cost you $1. Mixing bowl, they call it. I call it a tub. They call it a mixing bowl. Go to the kitchen section. It's got a nice lip there. What I use this mixing bowl for is actually I shake the baby ancestors out of their caves into a bit of water in this mixing bowl. And then I use, because I like this spout, because a lot of times baby ancestors, when you go to try to pour them into the breeder box, they will actually get stuck and wrapped around the lip and stuff. This has got the nice little lip on it. They just flow right out, right into the breeder's box. And it's just so much easier. So mixing bowl for moving baby ancestress or other fry you may have. I see New York Gold just said, I use a bowl like that for culling. Exactly. These bowls are easy to see in. They're easy to see the babies in. It's nice having different bowls around. And if they have a little lip on it like that for pouring them back out, it works out even better. Seems like something very small and you wouldn't think of it, but would you grab a toilet brush either? No, but I do because probably weird or something. But I use all these things. These things were so easy for me to pick up and bring over here because I had them all together because I use these things almost every day. I got one last item. Ugh. And this item would be a TDS monitor. The TDS monitor is it doesn't tell you what's in your water. It tells you how much of whatever is in your water is in your water. Zero TDS water is perfect water. That should be perfect RO water. My RO unit never gives me perfect RO water. I still have, about sometimes up to 20 TDS in my RO water, which doesn't bug me at all. That's perfectly fine. But when you're checking tanks to see, also with some of my tanks, I'll know how much, let's say, organic waste buildup is in the tank or in the water, how much of it is in my water column. This will tell me. If I set up a fish tank with my tap water I put in is 395 ppm, which that's what it is. It's terrible, I know. But if I go back to that tank, in that tank, the tank water is telling me I'm at 460. Well, guess what? I got some organic waste built up in my water column that I should probably get out of there. Or if you're adding ferts, if you're adding fertilizers, you want to know how much fertilizer you've actually added, this will tell you. So this is such an important tool. It doesn't tell you what's in your water, but it does tell you how much of something is in your water. It hasn't come up on this screen yet, but I see Abu is asking how to use this monitor. This monitor is extremely easy to use. You push the button. You should calibrate it. You should get calibrating liquid to calibrate it. I don't have any right here right now. I have to order some more. But you literally put it into your tank, the water up to here-ish. Put it into your tank and read the display. It'll tell you what your ppm is. Yeah, I guess you can hold it. I'll measure the 180 right here and show you. It should be around 400. It might be 410. It's that quick. It works very, very quickly. And I'm proud to say I know my tanks very, very well. I said it would be at 400. So when it was done, I pushed the hold button on it. And that's what my African cichlid tank is in my 180 gallon tank is 400 ppm. Now, again, I don't know what that is. That's just my tap water. So you would have to, yeah, I guess do a little more testing to know what exactly is in your water. Yeah, if you have perfectly distilled water, definitely could use that as a calibration. So pH and TDS are two totally different things. Now, if you have just a pen, I take it you're talking about you just have a pH pen. Not a big fan of them either. What I do have is a pH monitor. And my pH monitor is kick-ass. I love it. You can just leave it on a tank and see if it's varying, moving, going back and forth. Needs to be calibrated just the same. But if you get a pH monitor, that is the most accurate way you're going to check your pH. They're very pricey. They are quite expensive, but they work really, really good. It only tells you the amount of things that will conduct electricity, though. I actually didn't know that. So you're telling me it'll only tell you minerals. Exactly. Hereish. That's a word up here, Bob. That's a word. We do a lot of ish words. Chevy Fish says, I use my empty butter containers as mixing bowl. It has corners and it's easy to pour out at the corner, right? With not much goes in the recycling bin around here as far as margarine containers or butter containers or pop bottles or anything like that. So, and also, especially with these pop bottles, if I leave them down here long enough, Roscoe gets them and they're a chew toy for him for 5 minutes until it's 350 pieces. Yeah, they're pretty kick-ass. I'm gonna wrap up here in just a minute, but I'll go grab mine for you, New York Gold, and that way you can at least see what I'm talking about. Now it's not going to work properly. Well, not being in the water. But this is probably one of your better pH monitors right here. And it's a pinpoint, made in America. And this is the probe that goes in minus this part. This is a storage solution. But kick ass when you put, and you just leave it on. It takes a 9-volt battery, lasts for weeks. And you can actually monitor the pH of your tank if you have very pH specific tanks that require a specific pH. Has a huge long. You can set this up anywhere. You can set it. You can hang it on the side of the tank. There's a little thinger on the back here. That's a word too around here, Bob. Thinger. We call a lot of things thingers. Yeah. For breeding shrimp and other very sensitive fish, that is a very, very helpful tool. Measures ions. Okay. Most of my test kits are drops because I find they're still not super accurate. They're not 100% accurate. I have a hard time reading the test strips, to be honest. Yeah, so like Chevy Fish is saying, so one of the calibration fluids I buy literally costs like 90 cents each. So what I do is I use them once and throw them out. That way I know that they're really accurate. So for say for the pinpoint pH monitor, you have to get 2 different types of calibration fluids. You have to get the 4+, and I believe it's 4+ and the 7+. Yeah. You have to get 2 different for 2 different levels of calibration. Anyway, so it costs you like $1.80 every time you want to calibrate it, but you should only have to calibrate it once a month or something. I don't calibrate it very often. I'll go to a tank that I actually know what the pH is, that I tested like 2 days previous, and if it's still the same, that I know it doesn't need to be tested. Hey, Gizmo, taking my cord away. So yeah, just buy the one-time use stuff, and you won't have to worry about it. You can get it at Pets and Ponds in Canada. They're mail order. They're just down the road from me. No worries. No worries. That's what we're here for. Yeah, we say thingy. That's a thing here. Thinger. We say thinger too. Hey, you want to go grab that thinger? Yeah, I think the drops are more accurate. I just find the test strips are, yeah, the I guess the difference between the colors just isn't enough for my poor eyes, so I can't use it. And yes, you have to use your head a little bit when you're testing too. You have to see if maybe you did the testing correctly. A test is only as good as the person performing it. So if um, you can make the absolute best testing kit inaccurate with human error. So um, get the best test kit you can and try not to screw it up, I guess. Be very careful, read the instructions, and go from there. But I do like the drops better. Yeah, I did do well in French class, and we have to take French class in Canada since we are a dual language country. You can probably speak better French than me. I'm horrible at French. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I struggle with the colors too. It's just not enough difference between the colors for me. Ting, ting. We say thingy. You say ting. Go get that ting. Right? Exactly. But I found the drops, especially when you're doing like ammonia tests and whatnot, it's pretty clear cut with the drops, where it's not quite as clear cut with the strips. But anyways, guys, we've been going for a long time here now. I appreciate everybody's input. This made this a really great stream. This was actually probably this is the longest stream I've ever done, and it was my most enjoyable stream I've ever done, and that's because you guys helped make it very enjoyable. I'm glad we could share a lot of information. I got some really great ideas from this stream. Some of you guys got great ideas. And yeah, I'm gonna try implementing a few of them. I have to say, out of all the ideas, the bubble wrap idea I thought was the best. That just makes sense. It's like you're putting you could probably you're basically putting a pool cover on part of your tank, putting the water on it, just letting it roll off. It would roll off perfect all the time. That was probably out of all the ideas I took today. I like the bubble wrap idea for not disturbing your water while doing a water change. So that's my top idea from you guys that I think. Thank you for all the great interaction, everybody. And if you haven't subscribed, I'll say it one more time. We're almost at that 1,000 subscriber mark. So let's just get to it. The cool thing is I already have the watch time. I'm at almost 800 subscribers, and I'm at like 210,000 watch minutes for the year. I need to be at like 244,000 watch minutes to be monetized. And I feel by the time I actually get to 1,000 subscribers, I'll be there no problem. So thank you, everybody who have contributed to that. And yeah, let's keep growing. And hopefully I get on one of your guys' live streams or videos about sharing some of your ideas with the aquarium community. From us to you, happy fish keeping. Until next time, guys, take care. Bye, everyone.